You know what I love about coming into the high altitude is getting out of that hot valley. Right now, we're about 100 degrees down in the valley today and yesterday. And up here, we're right now probably 70 degrees. That's what I love about coming up into the mountains, to get out of that heat. And today, pretty excited. I'm gonna go over a tour. This is gonna be a full tour from front to back, side to side, bottom to top. High Altitude Trailer Company. This is a company out of Colorado, and they're a pretty cool group of guys. Gonna talk a little bit about this company as I go through this tour, their culture, and a little bit of their history, and also the trailer. We're gonna focus on the trailer a lot too. So Shane here with ROA Off-Road. If you don't know who we are, if you're brand new to this channel and you're just seeing this video, go check out our YouTube channel. We are literally the authority on off-road trailers. We have a larger lineup than anybody else in America when it comes to off-road trailers. We have a location in Utah and a location in South Carolina, and we carry literally the coolest and most capable off-road trailers that you can buy on the market. At least we have the best selection of them. Stuff from Australia, we have South African brands, we have incredible American made trailers, and this one right here is made right in Colorado. So let's get into this. Okay, one of the things that I really like about the group over at High Altitude, the owners and the founder, is they're very, very, very capable guys. So one of them has spent his entire career in manufacturing. His dad owned a huge multi-million-dollar manufacturing plant in the Midwest. And so he grew up, has studied and understands manufacturing at a large scale. The other owner and founder, he studied engineering. His PhD was all in composites. He worked with fiberglass, carbon fiber, so he understands how to do composite and all of those types of material. The reason why I mention this is a lot of the teardrops that you see on the market are made by small mom and pop shops, kind of out of their garage. And there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of us start that way, right out of our garage. And these guys actually started out of their garage. But the difference is, prior to starting the business, they were working in manufacturing at some high level or had studied engineering. So you get some very, very competent guys that know what they're doing. And I really like that. And you'll see that in the build, in the quality. And the founder, his name is Dario, and then Robert is the other one. Dario talks so much about how when he was taking his engineering courses, they were always like, you build it so that nobody ever dies. That's a big deal, right? So safety, and everything is very, very well built. So I want to get into some of the specs now and talk about that. As you can hear, that AC kicked on. It's an RTX 1000, which is a 12 volt AC unit. So it doesn't run through an inverter, runs straight off the batteries. And I've been running that all morning, having it kick on and off. So pretty cool system right there. Now, as for the specs, let's talk about the specs. There are two models of these smaller size trailers. They also build a larger trailer. It's an XT105, and they also build us an exclusive white labeled Roamer X. This is the XT50, but they also have a newer model, and it's the PSX50, and that has a ramp in the front for toys. So today we're going to be focusing on the XT50, and that's where all the specs are going to be focused on. These guys option out this trailer. There are a lot of different options you can add. So all the way from your suspension to your roof mounted air conditioning unit. So the suspension, you can have a few different suspensions. You can go with a solid axle standard leaf spring suspension, which is really heavy duty, not as good for the off-road. You can also go to an independent timbering suspension, so axle-less suspension. Also, you can option different tire sizes. The tire size on these right now is a 31-10-50 with a 15-inch rim. So you can option these for a little bit larger tires. They also do some bolt patterns and everything. But depending on the suspension, the tire, and whether you go with a cargo rack on the roof, your heights are going to vary. So you can get this trailer total overall height from the ground to the top of the rack as low as 6 feet. And pretty much if you option it out for everything in the highest settings, you're going to be around 7 foot 2.5 inches. So no matter how you option this thing, you're going to get it in an 8-foot garage. If you have a 7-foot garage, you can also get it in that. You just might have to option it where it will fit in a 7-foot garage without any issues. The other thing is the total overall length is 16 feet. That is overall length without the tire swing arm. So that's from the tip to the back of the box. The overall length with the swing arm is 17 feet and 3 inches. The overall width is 7 foot 3 inches, which is pretty cool because it tracks a vehicle very well. So if you're going down a forest trail, you're not going to have any issues pulling it behind you. The interior cabin height is 4 feet and 2 inches, and the interior cabin width is just barely under 5 feet. The bed inside is a true queen size. The vehicle dry weight, you can option it different ways, but it's around 2,900 pounds depending on how you option it. Depending on your axles, your gross axle weight is around 3,500 pounds. So this trailer can be towed by almost any vehicle on the market, even a Jeep, any type of 4Runner, small mid-sized truck. I mean, we've pulled this up here with a Colorado. You're gonna be able to tow this with a lot of different vehicles on the market. The tongue weight is sitting right around 200 pounds. And one of the nice things about this is the cabin and the box and everything on this is so light for what you have on this trailer. And it's because it's all composite. You can lift this trailer up and roll it around pretty much by yourself. It's very, very easy to move around. The ground to frame is about 18 inch of clearance. Depending on where you're measuring it, you're gonna have 18 to 22 inches of ground clearance. So you have lots and lots of ground clearance, more than a standard vehicle or Jeep. Okay, before we move on, right up here we have the water tank. And this can be optioned to various sizes. This specific one here is a 13-gallon, but like I said, you can option it to a larger water tank size. The frame on this one is a 5-foot by 16-foot frame made of 0.20 wall electric weld box steel. The actual overall weight limit on this frame is rated at 16,000 pounds. Of course, you're not going to be able to put that much weight on this because the suspension and the tires is what's going to limit you. But the actual frame itself is very, very robust for a trailer this small. And then up here at the tongue, this can be optioned. The whole frame can be optioned differently. So right here, we're just running a standard ball hitch. But a lot of people want to have a more off-road capable trailer, and so you can option this out for something else, so like a lock and roll. And then you have your hand crank jack right there that has a 2,000 pound capacity, which is like, may seem silly, but we've had trailers in the past where the tongue weight was like 700 pounds and they were putting 1,000 to 1,500 pound jacks on them, and you're like, wow. I mean, I guess it is strong enough, but this has a 200 pound tongue with a 2,000 pound jack. So never going to have anything fail right there. And you can option to put a wheel on this if you wanted to be able to roll this around and move it in your garage and park it in. So lots of versatility on the front end up here. You have a nice cargo area up here. There are some options to have some custom built storage compartment up here, or you can get it like this and be able to load it however you want. This does have a really nice long tongue, which means you can jackknife really, really well on the trailer if you're trying to get into some tight spots. One of the things that's most unique about the high altitude trailers, and you're not going to see this in very many trailers on the market at all. There might be a couple out there. Typically, you're talking really high dollar, like Brooders in Australia or a Earth Roamer in the US. So there's not too many people that do this, and it is the one-piece molded composite fiberglass. So what that means is there are no seams. Once again, I mentioned how a lot of people building teardrops are like mom and pop shops. Essentially what they do is order a frame and then it's like a stick built, right? They might do a welded aluminum, hopefully not wood studs in there, and then they'll put glue on a sheet of aluminum on the outside, maybe fiberglass or paneling on the inside. Also, that adds a lot of weight. So this right here is a one-piece mold. So they actually lay this into a mold, and then they lay out the fiberglass. It's all vacuum sealed, very, very quality fiberglass job. It's 1 1/4 inch thick, fully insulated with foam core inside of this. The cabin, like I said, I turned on the AC when we got here and it like kicked on and turned off really quickly. So it's very, very well insulated and airtight. And also you'll never have issues with water. right? Because when you're not putting that stick and frame together and having a seam, there's no point of entry for water. The only place that you could potentially is in a vent or an AC, but that's one thing that you have to watch and maintain, which every trailer has that. But without any seams along the walls or the roof, it means this trailer will never leak, and that is very, very cool. Right here, they put this on the bottom half of the trailer. This is a TOFF coating. It's like a Raptor or a Rhino lining coating. And then up here, they have a body paint, and this is automotive grade. They do all their painting in-house. One of the things that I really like is because of that in-house paint booth that they have, they do allow the customer, or in our case, if you buy from us, you become a roamer, they'll allow you to choose a color option, and they have a bunch of different color options. They do some of the Toyota stuff, the Sting, which is a gray, or the Bronco, which is an orange, red, flat Iron Man, Gator, which is a brownish green. You have a deep blue, olive, peak white, gobby sand. And then they also will allow a custom color. All the colors are actually priced differently that you can choose from, but you can also do a custom and then also do a wrap as well. So very, very cool. I love how they give some of these options for you and just kind of make it unique in your own trailer. Moving down from the paint, you can see these heavy duty wheel wells, and then also your tires and rims. Like I mentioned, you can option them. But one of the things that I really appreciate is behind here, this rubber gasket, we have a Zerk fitting, and these are buddy bearings. And then also you have electric drum brakes. And you know, easy to service these and have no issues. A lot of trailers, you have to pull out the whole thing and grease the bearings, and it's a pain in the butt, honestly. Over here, we have some outside lights, and you have this on both sides of the trailer. And then you have 2 entry doors. So his and hers, right? You don't have to wake each other up and you can get out of the bed. And then above me here, this unit's been optioned with 2 180 awnings. And there's also a piece that goes over the back and completely covers it in. You do have an option. These have zippers that can actually option in walls and then floors, so you can completely enclose this entire trailer and essentially double your living space, which is very cool. I typically reach out to some of the dealers before we start carrying a new brand if other people carry it, and I kind of ask them questions. What do you think of the brand? How's the support? How's the warranty? And the biggest thing that I got from one of their biggest dealers, I think he sells more of their product than anybody, is he's like, what warranty? He's like, we almost have 0 warranty for high altitude trailers. He says it's unbelievable. And that's so cool. I mean, obviously with the fiberglass, the one-piece composite, you eliminate any potential leaks, right? That's a huge deal. It's because that's a big warranty issue. But then also the simplicity of the trailer, it's not overly complex. Now, it does have a lot of options. So you could fully load this thing out and you could have furnaces, air conditioning units, you could have tons of things, more water. The way this one's set up, this is not fully loaded, but it's not totally base. Moving over here, we have a mounted 10-pound propane tank. This is an aluminum bracket system too that holds it to the walls. Right here we have 120 plug in for your shore power, so if you need to be charging your batteries. And right here we have ventilation to your battery inverter system, which I'll show you in a bit. Simplicity of the trailers is one of the things that they do, and you just don't have a lot of failures because of that. So this right here, you have your hot water shower system, and you just pull this propane line out, plug it into here, and then you have a shower. You could have a shower room set up right off this area, and then be able to have hot and cold water and showers right there, which is very cool. And just super simple and easy to not fail, right? Coming over here, we have our jacks, and these are super robust. This has a 8,000 pound and a 7,000 pound lift, so way overkill for the trailer. But it's nice is because they come up and you have a lot of clearance. Also, if you need to change out your tire, I lifted this off the ground so I could showcase how you can change out your tire with this jack and be able to lift it right up. You have some stepping points right here, so if you need to get up and unzip this. I'm 6 feet tall, so it's not too high. I can unzip this without any issues or step stools or ladders. Coming back over here to the kitchen area, let's talk about the kitchen for a second. Love the setup, not overly complex. Obviously your swing out for your spare tire goes out, and then you have a refrigerator. This is a Dometic, and you can set this to freeze or fridge. It's just adjustable to whatever you want. This is all 12 volt, so it runs off of your battery system. Now moving right here to the left, we have the stove propane setup. This is super cool. Back here you have a connection for your propane, so it's plumbed in here. Of course you could do a little small bottle. Down here there's a little device that you can plug in right here, and then you plug this into it right there, and super easy to get propane from your main tank on the side of the trailer, or you can use a smaller bottle if you wanted to. This thing then lifts up. Got to unlatch it. This is a Camp Lux propane stove, and there has a nice windshield that locks in right like there. And these are 10,000 per burner, 20,000 combined. Puts out a lot of heat for cooking. Some of the teardrop trailers you see use those little Dometic built-in stoves, and those things are, honestly, they're terrible. They just don't put out a lot of heat. I'm not a huge fan. These ones are much better. And then it's easier to put this away while the stove is out. And it has a nice little clip area that it clips right in. All the woodwork you see in here, like I said, the entire shell itself is a one-piece composite fiberglass mold. The inside here is also fiberglass. So you have an exterior fiberglass mold, 1 1/4 inch thick with high density foam. And then this right here is also a fiberglass. Now you do see some wood in here. You have some options of wood. This is a maple wood that they're using. They also have a walnut wood as an option. And then it's a semi-gloss polyurethane finish. So it looks a little bit more premium. That's a more expensive option. Right here we have a nice little bottle opener to get your drinks while you're out camping. And underneath the stove, we have some extra storage space. You also have a bunch of components down here. If you're ever having any issues, this is where your fuse panel is. You have your batteries down here as well. Right now, this is a Dakota. So this is an American company that builds lithium batteries, and they have the longest warranty and the most amperage out of any battery in their size. So this company is super cool. You can look them up. Like I said, Dakota Lithium. Very cool company. You can option to have 2 lithium batteries in here. This is a 100 amp hour lithium, which is standard. Over here you have a 1100 watt inverter. And then you also have a 30 amp solar charge controller by Victron. And then obviously you have your fuses and everything else in here. Behind the stove, you can see the fuse right there. They have all the fuses here, and they're also labeled 1 through 6, which is really cool if you're ever having an issue with, say, your fridge. You don't have to pull out all the fuses and figure it out. They got it labeled right there, and then also a main battery disconnect under there. Everything is fused. Just a clean job. Nothing too crazy complex, and just simple. So over here, I want to show off, you have your solar charge controller, or your display right here. This is the ZAMP for the solar panels. You'll have all your battery voltage in here that you can watch. Right here is your inverter system. You just press the button. That will engage the inverter, which turns on power to your outlets inside and right out here. And then right here we have some switches for various things. Light switches. You have a 2-way switch for your outside lights that also is controlled inside the cabin or out here. So you don't have to go inside or open the door if somebody's inside. You don't have to disturb them. You can turn on your outside lights from out here. You have your overhead lights, your water pump. You also have a 12 volt cigarette lighter option, so you can put like an inverter or certain things, you know, charge off of that. That comes directly from your batteries. And same with this guy. This is a USB output, so you have your cell phones. You also have another set of USBs on this speaker. And then this is a Bluetooth speaker, so when you get to camp, it's a docking and charging station. When you get to camp, you can turn that on and play some music and have a good time. Here we have a nice stainless steel countertop area where you can use to prep. Also some more storage. We have a bunch of goodies. A lot of these are the awning. We got stakes and ropes to tie everything down. Bunch of manuals for every single appliance you have. Obviously your Bluetooth speakers in there. Just lots of ropes and straps and extra miscellaneous goods. And then you have some more storage up here, and there's a lip here so it will protect anything from falling out. And also over here, I love how they've done this because it's like a molly panel. So you could actually do like little straps, mounts and stuff on here and have some storage on the outside and then also on the inside as well. Cool little detail. Like I mentioned earlier, this awning is a 180 and this setup has two 180s on each side. So they'll both come to this point. And then there's an additional awning that goes over the entire back area. So you can pretty much enclose the whole entire trailer, not the front part, but from the front all the way back here. And then those do have zippers where you can make them into rooms, which is a very cool system. Also, like I said, there's ropes. These are the guy wires. So you can tie it onto there and then you can just pull this and it kind of tightens it and gives it some tension. And then we've just staked it into the ground. And we've had some pretty good winds earlier and we've left this out the whole time. So pretty robust system. The awnings are overland vehicle systems and they're a pretty popular brand. We have them on trailers anywhere from $20,000, $30,000 all the way up to $150,000 trailers. So they have a pretty good reputation for their product. As you can see, we got a cool little ladder that leads to the top of the roof. And then you have the front runner load rails up here where you can put whatever you want. You want to put some boats, some rafts, some canoes, potentially add a rooftop tent. There's a lot of different options for this roof and it is pretty strong. And then over here, we also have our solar panel and your rooftop AC and vent. Okay, as you can see, we just opened up the entire awning, the whole 180s, and we added that piece in. Like I was mentioning, you can completely close off the whole thing. This is the overland vehicle systems. They also do have poles or legs that you can pull this Velcro out and you can drop them down. And if you are like trying to stay for a long time, you can drop those all the way down to the ground, and then it's easier to, of course, stake things down. You can create some tension for the wind or anything. There's a lot of options, right? Like from the rooftop tent, you don't have to choose a certain one. I know they've used a lot of overland vehicle systems. People have used the iCampers, the Thule rooftop tent. So there's a lot of different options that you can put on the rooftop and you can climb that ladder and use the tent. You don't have to necessarily use these awnings. These are the ones that we're showcasing today. There's a lot of different options where you can mount things to the side and have extra gear or cargo space. Also, you could do a cargo storage box on the rooftop and have tons and tons of storage. The inside, there's options to sleep more than two adults. You could potentially add a bunk inside there and have some kids on the bunk. So lots of different options. I really like how they just allow you to choose, everything from your color to your wrap to a lot of the different features and components on it. You just have to build it out with us and we can get you set up. But let's head on inside and end there. Welcome inside this spacious cabin. Very airtight. The guys were saying it's like a boat or a submarine. Obviously you have some ventilation. You do have a fan right here on the roof. This particular unit has the RTX 1000. So that's about just over 4,000 BTU air conditioning unit. And it works really good in this box. I mean, I've been running it for 2 to 3 hours today. And it turns on and off and makes it nice and cool in here. We just turned it off to come in. You got some nice reading lights, also some 12-volt plug right there to be able to charge your cell phones up above. Like I mentioned before coming in, there is also a bunk bed option. So you can have the kiddos sleeping inside, and it's the whole length of this wall. It comes out to about right here. I think it's 43 inches, so 60 by 43. So you could easily throw up a kid up there, maybe even squeeze two if you really wanted to. All the interior here is all fiberglass. The bed that I'm on, you have a few different options. It is a queen size bed, so you could potentially option your own mattress. If you like that nice Tempur-Pedic mattress, you could squeeze it in and let it air out and grow inside of here. They also have some options at the factory. This is a 4-inch, but they can do a premium 6-inch. Or like I said, you could potentially option your own mattresses in here. Over here, we have some outlets. I love how they have the netting down here to be able to have some storage as well. And then this is a massive storage compartment. Gives you a lot of space, and you can kind of tell how you could easily put a bed in here. And of course you have your fire extinguisher, your smoke detectors, everything you need to make sure you're safe. And then check this out, you have your dual windows, open up to this beautiful, beautiful view and just enjoy nature, right? Anyway, really, really cool manufacturer. Like I mentioned, the guys that own and operate High Altitude, they also go by Hatco. They are just really phenomenal guys. Really, you know, put a lot of attention and detail into the trailers just to make sure you don't have issues, you know, and you don't have all of the quality issues that you get with so many trailers made in America. And these trailers, they're honestly very, very affordable. I don't like to always say prices because prices can always change, but you can really get into one of these trailers for a very good deal, you know, around that 30,000, you know, base price or below even potentially. And then you can option it out until your heart's content. You can, you know, get it as high as you want if you put enough stuff on it, right? But sometimes people aren't looking for all the bells and whistles. They're looking for simplicity, and they just want a good cabin, you know, well insulated with a one-piece composite. You're never going to deal with any type of rotting or molding with, you know, inside structure, wood or anything. Another thing that I don't think I've mentioned is the actual underbelly. The whole entire underbelly is this space age plywood. It's not real wood. It's a composite plastic material. NASA grade though, so completely waterproof, very light, but also very, very durable. So you're just not dealing with any wood in the structure of this trailer. None in the walls and the floors, the ceiling, all composites or fiberglass. So the guys always say it's like a boat, right? You could throw it in the water and it would float. And it's true, right? And the benefit of that is you're never going to be dealing with some of these frustrating maintenance issues. So hopefully you enjoyed this tour. Like I said, lots of options you can add on to it. You just got to reach out to us for more details, but hopefully you learned something. If you're interested in one of these trailers, you can pick one of these up from us at our 2 locations, one in South Carolina or in Utah, ROAOffroad.com. Give us a text, 801-860-035, and you can text that number and ask us any questions you have about these trailers. If you have any questions, make some comments below and we could follow up and do another video on these. We have already done some off-roading a little bit with this, and we're going to be out camping in it for the next week or so. So stay tuned, and thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.